Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the All-American ARCA Series. Today, we're here for the Delaware 200 at the virtual Dover International Speedway. We're going to be going 200 laps, 200 miles with an 85% fuel capacity, 3 sets of tires, 3 green-white checkered tips, and 0 fast repairs at the mile-long circuit. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East, and I'm bringing you the action and all the hype at 1080p, 60 frames a second, as right now we are out for qualifying. And if you're new to the All-American ARCA Series, first of all, where have you been? But second of all, we are capped at 43 entries into the main event here today. If you do not make it into the top 43, you will be sent back to the hauler early here today. As let's see, currently a pole is set by Mr. Tate Lytle. He clicked off a 23.33. Eckert clicked off a 23.43. Let's cycle a bit further back. We've got 36 drivers that have put down qualifying times so far. And then we're going to keep an eye out to see who's maybe not quite as fortunate. And again, who will not make it to the main event here today. We're watching Craig Martin in the 22 machine, one of our favorite Canadians out on track. He's currently qualified 38th, not having the qualifying session he wanted so far. 41 drivers have put down times. And we've still got 5 drivers out on track, as now we're keeping in touch with our good friend Jacob Feskinen to see what he can do in the number 89 machine here today. And again, I think it was last week we sent home about 3 or 4 drivers that were unable to make it to the main event here today. Maybe they'll have a little bit better luck. As now we've got 44 drivers on the bubble. Jacob Feskinen will unfortunately not qualify in the number 44 machine. We still have Jay Stinson and Justin Ray that have not put down qualifying times yet. As we've only got about 40 seconds left in qualifying, as we get a system test for our good race control friends. He may have caught me in a overlay reload there. So odd to see Ray and Stinson both not putting down any times here today. Pole will belong to Lytle with a very fast 23.33. And less than 0.7 of a second separating our pole setter all the way back to about 40th place, so the pace is going to be close. As we get ready to advance to tonight's main event. Now, last week, a bit of a rough go for the drivers. A little bit more cautions than we expected at Chicagoland. But at the Chicagoland 200, it was Eckert picking up his first win of the season. It was Barbagallotta finished with pole. Now, last week around the mile and a half are only 134 laps. But we did have 10 cautions for 40 of those laps last week. Pacing at its best, ladies and gentlemen. As we check out the cool sights and scenery here at Delaware. The Monster Mile. Now, on top of the individual points chase, we also have the team chase. Right now, it's Outlaw Racing out in first, Mountain Man Motorsports in second, and then Cornerstone Motorsports making up third in the team challenges. I believe that's correct. Let's take a quick look at the standings, make sure that's accurate. Yes, it's Outlaw out front, Mountain Man Motorsports second, and I was wrong. It is Spirit of Daytona that will be third in points. We're going to use this time to go ahead and put up a poll for our users at home, over under, on 15 cautions here today at Dover. Now, if practice is anything to go off of, it's going to be a bit of a rough night for the guys. And hopefully our race control will be relaxed and not have too big of a worrisome evening. And as always, thank you to our fans, friends, and family that tune in across the world week in and week out, supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite ARCA series, and possibly even your favorite broadcaster. It's always great having all my friends here, spending a Friday night watching a bunch of hooligans go round and around as fast as they possibly can. We've got Robert Hill Jr. He's voting for over despite being in the field. Luckily, there's no money at play here. You might see some of the drivers make those bets come to fruition. Robert Hill will be cheering himself on today. And he's also a friend of a fan of James. James Silvers, as I assume who Robert Hill is talking about. Silvers piloting the number 21 machine with Cornerstone Motorsports. Yeah, got to keep an eye out on Robert Hill and the 05 machine out there today. He's racing with Mountain Man Motorsports. Your current up in the running for points, running second, right behind Outlaw Racing. As it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the main event here at Dover. This is going to be the wildest of nights. Let's take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, let's get rid of that. Starting on pole, Tate Lytle. DJ Weeks Jr. starting second. Jumpin' Johnny Eckert starting third. Christopher Heller starting fourth. Elliott Henderson fifth on the grid. Zath Rosselberger starting sixth. Lane Doyle starting seventh. Michael Vandermeet starting 8th. Casey Carrington starting 9th. Alex Penn, road race phenom. And we've got a talking point about the young Penn later tonight. He'll be starting 10th. Brad Delph starting 11th. Zach Rogers starting 12th. Then we've got Rhett Tucker starting 13th. Matthew Weeks 14th. Brandon Barkuski starting 15th. Ron White 16th. Will Barbagallotta starting 17th. Kyle Hall 18th. Robert Hill Jr. starting 19th. Carlos Thiel starting 20th. David Westergreen starting 21st. Hunter Madalana starting 22nd. Gus Moody starting 23rd. Tyler the Weapon Evans starting 24th. We've got Mark Proctor starting 25th. Devin Scroggins starting 26th. John Simpson Jr. starting 27th. We've got Alex Harrington starting 28th. Then you've got Stephen Rex with Dropping Bombs Racing starting 29th. Patrick Hernandez starting 30th. Justin Bentley starting 31st. Ryan Dipple starting 32nd. Terry Freer starting 33rd. Nick Terrell starting 34th. Finley Fitzsimmons starting 35th. Dylan Breton starting 36th. Then we've got Tyler Watt starting 37th. Derek Cook starting 38th. James SoundCloud Silver starting 39th. Shane Gentry starting 40th. Randy Benami starting 41st. Craig Martin starting 42nd. And then Clay Cantrell starting 43rd to round out a massive field here today, ladies and gentlemen. As we're expecting the pace car to come in this time by, I'm fairly sure race control extended the start just so I can get through that. That is a mouthful. That is a lot of drivers to go through. What are we going to see here today, ladies and gentlemen, as the pace car comes in? It's going to be Lytle and Weeks on the front row, Eckert and Heller your second row, Henderson and Roethlisberger your third row. And the green flag will fly here at Delaware. Lytle with a great launch early on. DJ Weeks follows in tow. Eckert trying to find a place to slot in as he goes to the inside of Heller. Heller has a great drive. The number 11 machine gets the party started. But what's going to go on towards the middle of the pack? That is where all the excitement usually happens at. As we're going to check in on Carrington in the number 9 machine. He's going side by side with, I believe that's going to be Alex Penn. No, he's behind Penn. That's going to be Rhett Tucker in the number 91 machine. I'll try and find a wider shot because I really don't think this gives justice to how many drivers we have out here tonight on the circuit. 43 drivers coming out to play at the All-American ARCA Series. And Lytle clicks off the fastest lap of the race so far at 23.7. He's got about a 3/10 gap over DJ Weeks Jr. and Johnny Eckert, two teammates running second and third. And you've got Christopher Heller with 2511 Racing. He's currently fourth on track. An absolutely massive field. Brandon Barkuski may have had some sort of problem in the number 25 machine as he's showing down 28 spots. Currently 43rd on track. Not sure if he has problems or what may have happened there. About 10 seconds in separating the field from front to back with 43 drivers. The lap time here is only about 24 seconds. So if this is how things are going to be going, I'm expecting to see lap traffic play quite an exciting role here today at Dover. These guys have to be very mindful of throttle control, and we're going to have our first caution of the day early on. That's a sign of things to come. As it shows Hernandez involved in that one. See who else may have gotten involved. Hernandez on the outside wall, tags the outside line, and then bounces into the 16 and goes careen to the outside line. Let's see if the rest of the field gets through here. Well done to Hernandez, locking up the brakes so nobody else gets involved there. That could have been extremely exciting early on. We're going to take one more look at that one. Tags the outside wall, tries to go back down, realizes, oh no, there's a car in the way. And then he will unfortunately watch his friends go by, but very thankfully, No other drivers involved in that incident. And we'll give these guys a little bit of time to cool their tire. Hunter Matulanas, he comes down pit road. It shows. I'm not sure if that was a fake out. I believe it was. No, Hunter is going to come down pit road, number 44 machine, very early here today. Not sure if he has any damage or what might be going on. We'll get them re-racked, get them ready to go back out. Let's see who all we've got here tuning in. We got Robert Hill, Bo Chick. We've got our friends over at Spino Racing. We've got Race Control, Joseph Penn. The gang is all here. Good friends, good racing, and sometimes even better crashes here at the All-American ARCA Series. We got our good friend Larry Fulcher joining in as well. World famous, world renowned. A great racer and dancer in his own right. Always good seeing Fulcher hanging out with the team. So Race Control saying the yellow on lap 6 was caused by netcode, deemed a racing incident. What that means for our viewers at home that maybe aren't into iRacing themselves, sometimes the game will, the sim, before I get yelled at on Twitter, will say, kind of predicts where you're at and where your opponent should be at, and does the math at pretty much the speed of light. But if they get that calculation just ever so slightly off, you can have cars bounce into each other that make no contact. So that's what we're going to see with Hernandez. And I'm assuming that was Matalanas involved in that one as well, number 44, excuse me. Pace car is in. And here we go once more. Lytle with another great launch. Weeks, Eckert all trying to shuffle along as the two teammates go side by side. Heller in the number 11 machine, he's behind Weeks, and we're already going to have a crash. And it's going to be Dipple and Breton showing involved in that one. These guys know it's a 200-lap race, right? That is Dipple in the number 20. It looked like he had a problem on the start maybe and got all sorts of unsettled. And I believe that's being Breton on the inside line. Dipple was kind of swerving all over the place. I'm not sure if he might have had a real-life mechanical with his sim racing rig or what that could have possibly been. Once more involved in an incident. Oh boy, my good friends at Race Control are going to have quite the busy night. Oh yeah, I'm very interested to see what happened there. as I'm not sure, again, if Dipple, looked like he had problems on the launch. And then the entirety of the field had to check up to allow the pace car back around as they had not completed a lap yet. Larry Fulton saying he's got to get iRacing. Absolutely you do, my friend. A lot of fun, a lot of great racing. And a lot of comrades you meet through battle among the shorter tracks with high horsepower, low downforce machines such as these ARCA cars. Lytle and Weeks once again on the front row getting their restart practice in early. Now we only have about 5 good, maybe 6 good laps these guys have put on their set of tires, but as the run progresses and they start doing these launches on more worn in and worn out tires, it will only get more exciting. Got a viewer saying 2 yellows already. Glad I didn't bet on the over under 15 yellows. I think I'm gonna have to bet over tonight, as that's not a positive start for the drivers. Had somebody ask, I don't see a name on your account, so my apologies. It just shows the letter P as your name. Asking if there was a crash under caution. It showed Martin Barkuski and Hernandez with an incident, but sometimes if you lock up the brakes in iRacing and you're not going the speed the sim thinks you're supposed to be going, it'll show as a caution. But if you do want to see the live event ticker while you're at home, there it is in the Twitch chat. You can hit that link and it'll show you all the events going on out on track. And you can also take a look at the track map that our drivers are on here today. We'll see if we can get this party going here today. As some of these drivers have a very strict bedtime. Here we go. Weeks doesn't get the launch he wants, the number 97 machine. That will allow Heller to quickly get the position in the number 11. But Weeks does have a bit of good news as he is now linked up with his teammate, Jumpin' Johnny Eckert, in the bright pink number 90 machine. This has got to be a game of patience for the guys. You can't win it in the first 190 laps, but you can sure bin it and send that race car back to the hauler with an early night. I believe Scroggins may have had an issue with number 66. He's going to come down pit road. And Weeks is going to try and challenge Henderson, a number 37 machine. Henderson up 2 spots, currently in third, working that outside groove as he goes side by side with Weeks across the start-finish line. Up front, Lytle and Heller have their heads together, running nose to tail, just trying to get through some laps here. Heller put down the fastest lap of the race so far with a 23.65. As we were watching the heated battle for third between DJ Weeks and Elliott Henderson, as well as Johnny Eckert. Oh, here we go. There goes DJ Weeks with Henderson. Henderson refusing to get off the gas, just charging into the side of Weeks in the 97. That's not going to do him any favors as he's going to take even more damage that way. It'll bring out the third caution of the night. Let's take a look at that one. Let's see what happens to our good friend Weeks here. If he gets touched or if he just gets a little bit loose and comes up. Yeah, Weeks nowhere to go. Henderson also not getting on the brakes, just deciding to finish off the number 97 machine. Bit of an odd choice. We're going to back that one up once more, just a little bit. Does Weeks maybe get a little bit of help from Eckert in the 90? I think there's not enough track space for those guys to go around. Thankfully, the field able to get through there. And the current caution count. Not sure why it's saying second. I'm almost entirely sure that's the third caution. Did we break the sim, I wonder? Do you ever crash so hard the flag guys forget where they're at and how to count? I do, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, not sure why it's registering as 2 cautions. That's definitely the third caution of the night. Now, last week, I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping up on the Team Goon Squad YouTube channel, but we did film a radioactive for Chicagoland. As always, we keep it PG-13 in the broadcasting booth. But if you got time later on, go check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. It helps me out, it helps the drivers out, and most importantly, it helps the series out. But we are about a 10th of the way through tonight's event. As we continue in eye-pacing conditions. Take a quick look at the session info. It does not say anything about the maximum time allotment for these drivers. So we will run it out all the way. Hopefully not until tomorrow morning. Number 20 will receive an EOL for causing the crash. Number 66 got a drive-through for crashing under pacing. That was Scroggins, who did have that incident earlier. So that will be Dipple that receives the EOL. Now that was for the lap 12 incident. We're on lap 23. That's a whole other incident. We had our good friend Barber asking, is there any green-white checker attempts here today? Yes, there are 3 green-white checker attempts, but we got to get to the end there. And yes, the number 97 DJ Week Jr. will receive an EOL for the lap 19 incident. So yes, we have 3 green-white checker attempts, but we have to get a little bit closer to that 200 lap marker on the top left of your screen before that is even an option for these guys. Barbara, that's going to be at the end of the race. Those are like kind of an overtime is what a green-white checker is. Lytle, another great launch. Heller staying in tow. Here comes Lane Doyle. Haven't talked about him much, number 32 machine, but he's up 4 spots, working his way into 3rd. I wonder if Eckert has any damage on that number 90 machine after getting tagged by his teammate, DJ. Tucker, Carrington, Penn all battling out deep. But let's check on Alex Penn and the number 30 machine. Penn, this is a cool tidbit for you guys at home. He is racing out of a hotel room here today. He paid for the premium internet access. He's got his sim rig set up at the desk inside his room. He is on the road, I believe, for school, but he has sponsorship obligations he has to meet. So the Mad Lad racing from a hotel room here today. Penn is already up 3 spots in the number 30 machine, nearly getting around Zach Rogers in the 57 machine, who had a bit of a problem. But that is commitment at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Penn doing whatever it takes to get back out on track, be it sim racing or his real life racing. The kid is going places. Lane Doyle and Johnny Eckert going side by side, battling for that 3rd place spot. Meanwhile, Heller is now your race leader ahead of Lytle. Lytle may be going into a little bit of tire saving mode here. If we happen to get that infamous green flag run that these drivers have heard about, they've been chasing for quite a while now. We've got the Penn family tuning in tonight as well. Always great seeing our friends from up north every week. The entire Penn family tuned in to support their 2 sons. They've got Alex Penn out on track, number 30 machine. They've got Joseph Penn up in the broadcast booth, the race control booth, trying to keep all of our drivers pointed in the right direction. So always a great time having the Penn family tune in each and every week. We've got Spino Racing. He's cheering on Roethlisberger, Bentley, Benami, Cantrell. I believe Feskinen may be one of their drivers as well. Jacob Feskinen, I'll have to get an update on that. Not entirely sure if I'm calling that one right or not. Still 42 drivers on the lead lap here. As up front, it is Heller in the number 11 machine. He's got about a 7/10 advantage over Tate Lytle. Lytle finding some company here. Lane Doyle, Johnny Eckert, as well as Zach Roethlisberger, who's made his way into the top 5 in the number 23 machine. Lytle, if he's trying to do fuel saving or tire saving, it's going to be tough without giving up the position because those guys behind him are fast and looking to make moves early on in the run. Now we are told the fuel window could be about 70 laps for these guys. under green flag conditions, which we haven't seen here much today. Patty Heller tuned in. She's supporting her friends at 2511 Racing. That's Christopher Heller and Brandon Barkuski. As Lytle gives that outside wall just the slightest and faintest of tail taps. Eckert still trying to get around Doyle in the number 32 machine. As the field stretching out just ever so slightly, seeing a little bit more single file action as the tire wear starts coming to play. These guys are about 7/10 of a second off their fastest laps of the race as the tires start to get burnt in. Now in practice is pretty wild. In turn 4, there was actually a groove starting to form up where all the drivers were crashing in the same spot and laying down a heavy amount of rubber. We can check further back in the field. We've got James SoundCloud Silvers in the number 17 machine, our current hard charger. He is up 20 positions, working his way up to 19th so far here today. He's chasing down Hunter Matalanis, and he's being chased by Gus Mooney. And he's got his good friend Tyler the Weapon Evans just a couple of cars back in the number 77 machine. Maybe Silver's hoping for a little bit of support as Evans does make the pass. He will link up with his teammate Silvers, both drivers racing for Cornerstone Motorsports this season. And I've got to say, that's a few drivers have come a long way as far as their racecraft and their professionalism on and off the track. That's got to be Silvers, Evans, Vandermeer. 3 guys that have really grown into the cars over the last couple of seasons. We've got the opportunity to watch these guys grow up as sim racers and start to get things figured out. Now they're a force to be reckoned with. Eckert takes over 3rd place from Lane Doyle, and we're going to have another caution coming out. It's going to be a bloodbath. As it shows Barbagalata, Carrington, Tucker, Rogers, Matalanis, Westergreen, White all involved. This will be a good one for our fans at home. Let's see where things go wrong. You're watching Carrington in the number 9 machine. The number 14 gives a hearty shove to, I believe that's the 91 of Rhett Tucker. And then the field just stacks up domino file. So Barbagalata, Carrington, Tucker, Rogers, Matalanis, Westergreen, White. Let's see who else gets collected here. Oh, they're still crashing. ARCA brakes in full effect. The number 44 machine of Matalanis doesn't hear that there's a crash happening, and they're still piling in as there comes, I believe, Vandermeer. Field goes to the inside line. The number 85 of Harrington dives as well, and it is a parking lot here at Dover. Everyone trying to find a way through, but the track is completely blocked. There's Finley Fitzsimmons. He's looking for a way through. Everybody's watching. And look at that shot, ladies and gentlemen. The field is absolutely parked, watching the calamity unfold in front of them. It's like an Austin Powers scene where everybody's trying to wiggle around. Like rush hour in Atlanta, there's a few gutsy drivers trying to stick their nose through a lane, and they're continuing to crash. It is a bloodbath here at Dover. They can't get in the right direction. The pace car has passed the field. He's putting down an average faster lap times than our competitors. My, oh my, what a night. Have you ever seen such a thing? As that will be our 4th caution of the day. Ignore the live timing and scoring ticker on the left side of your screen. It is lying to you, and it is over-optimistic. Wow, that's going to collect a whole lot of drivers as Tucker, Rogers, Barbagalata, Carrington, Fitzsimmons, Matalana, Simpson, Hernandez, Terrell, DJ Weeks Jr., Ryan Dipple, Gus Moody all coming down pit lane. And that was the crash that just kept on giving here today at Dover. Wow, 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 wow. That's probably one of the wildest crashes I've seen for a while. Where else are you going to get a shot of every driver parked on the racetrack? I've never seen such a thing. We'll see if Race Control gives us an update on the bottom middle of your screen. But I think those guys are going to be too busy to worry about the broadcast booth here today, as they are putting out fires in every sense of the word, both literally and figuratively out on track. The sim fires, if you will. Here we go. We're going to send them back out. How long do they go before everyone bends it once more? It's still Lytle out front. Heller second. Eckert third. As we're going to go on board with Lane Doyle, number 32 machine, currently fourth out on track. As we are about a quarter of the way through tonight's main event. Now, generally, it's the top 10 drivers are usually able to get into a groove, click off some laps, and don't have many issues. As Doyle is watching Eckert and Heller battle it out for that second place spot. And here comes Roethlisberger, number 23 machine, trying to get around the 32 of Doyle. Roethlisberger is up one spot in his number 23 machine so far, trying to gain another one. He looks to the inside of Doyle. He gets a nose in. Can he make it stick down the start-finish line straight? And we're going to have another caution coming out. Barbagalata, Tucker showing involved with that one. DJ Weeks Jr. going off track. Ooh, who was that on the outside line that had problems? Oh, somebody gets lifted up and absolutely sent. That was the number 14 machine, I believe, of Brett Delph. Just nowhere to go. We're watching Barbagalata. Let's watch his onboard here and see if we can figure out what happened. Now watch up ahead. Somebody bounces off the wall. Kind of hard to tell when everybody's careening around. I wonder if that's Rhett Tucker we saw? Yes, that is Tucker. Pushes a little wide and just pinballs, and that's going to innocently collect Brad Delph, Barbagalata. DJ Weeks Jr. goes off track to avoid the shenanigans. And that will be our 5th caution of the night. And again, no fast repairs here for the All-American ARCA Series. So if you find yourself with a wadded up race car, you've got to get it fixed the old-fashioned way. A bunch of angry mechanics with sledgehammers, duct tape, and Flex Seal to make it happen. And we're going to name this one to the Thunderdome of Delaware. 43 cars entered, 6 will leave by the end of the night. We've got 33 drivers on the lead lap as we've got about 10 drivers in pit lane. As we get ready to start the 1/4 of the way through mark for our drivers. Now I'm curious to wonder how many drivers are just hanging back, taking it easy, trying to keep the tires underneath them, knowing that they could probably make it all the way to the end. On lap 38, the number 14 received an EOL. On lap 46, the 91 received an EOL. So that's Brad Delph received an EOL on lap 38. On lap 46, that'll be belonging to Rhett Tucker, the number 91 machine. As right now your top 5 is Lytle, Heller, Eckert, Doyle, and Roethlisberger. We've got the number 42 taking a lucky dog and trying to catch back up. As we get them gridded back up, double file. Still just about 20 rows deep here. We've got several drivers in pit lane that have been there for a while. That's Delph, Tucker, Bentley, and I believe, no, that's the only 3. Zach Rogers has gotten back out on track, number 57 machine. He's about 3 laps down from the leaders, and still 36. 3-6. Like the number of Mark Proctor out on track. Drivers on the lead lap here. Pace car comes in. And away we go with Lytle and Heller once again on the front row. Heller has Eckert right behind him. Lytle has Doyle at number 32 machine as Lytle quickly hops down to the inside groove just ahead of Heller's number 11 machine. But he's got to keep an eye out as there comes Doyle taking a peek in the outside line. Johnny Eckert, the number 90 machine, looking for any way through that he possibly can. As again, these guys are battling very, very hard, very early in tonight's main event. Trying to hold on to that second place spot, but some of this may be track mission for the guys. And look at that, Lane Doyle really working the side trap. Now he's battling for second as he's got a nose on Heller. And they're going to keep that side-by-side party going. Heller on the inside line, Doyle on the outside line. We're going to switch to onboard with Eckert, and you can really see the battle in front of you unfold. Eckert trying to stay glued to Heller on the inside line. Doyle trying to make everything happen he can on the outside line. Now, while all these guys are battling side by side, that is allowing your race leader Lytle to stretch his legs and get about a 8-10 gap over that battle for second. And what it's also doing is allowing a whole lot of other drivers to move their way up. And instead of a 2-car battle for second, you can very quickly find it being a 5 or a 10-car battle, especially with how stacked the field is here at Delaware. Rex, number 5 machine, he comes down pit road on lap 55, maybe going for a bit of an undercut. And this is the first time he's pitted here today. The top 9 have not pitted. And just like that, Mark Kuski, number 25 machine, who's up 6 spots. He's battling with Alex Penn for that 9th place, that top 10. Mark Kuski came in a lap 25, only took fuel. Meanwhile, Penn, number 30 machine, has not come down pit road yet here today. As we go back to the battle for second, it's still between Eckert, Heller, and Roethlisberger, who's trying to put the number 23 in the mix. And I believe that's Matthew Weeks also trying to get involved. No, that's Vandermeed. Vandermeed running the number 7 here today. Historically, he runs the 84, so we called that incident wrong earlier. That was Gus Moody run the 84 this season. So Vandermeed now running the 7, with his teammate Tyler Evans running the double 7, the 77. Vandermeed, we were bragging on him earlier, as now he's going to really challenge for that 3rd place spot. Looking to the inside of Roethlisberger. It's Vandermeed on the inside, Roethlisberger on the outside as they dive down the backstretch. Vandermeed will take the position of putting himself in podium contention. And look at the gap that Lytle and Eckert have on the rest of the field now. About 0.7 of a second separating Eckert from Lytle, and about another 0.7 separating, oh, here we go again, Vandermeed from Eckert. Randy Benami, Dylan Breton, John Simpson showing involved in an incident. Ooh, the 195 maybe came up. Harrington involved in that, and once again, yard sale. We've got wheels falling off, drivers throwing things out the window. The fans are starting to cause a ruckus. Look at Dylan Breton's point of view. He's on the outside line. Let's see what happens here. Oh, the crash is ahead of him. He gets in the back of Carolus Steele. Trying to see. There's another crash I really wanted to see maybe who's involved in it. What a rough night for a whole lot of drivers. We're going to keep looking at this with more of curiosity. 195 just kind of gets hooked there by the 35. I think that was Hernandez involved in that incident as well. Let's see if we can check on our good friend in the number 19 machine. Is man, oh man, just an absolute parking lot here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking for Hernandez in the number 19 machine on the leaderboard. And yes, let's watch that from his point of view. Hernandez just nowhere to go here, gets collected. And that'll be tonight's crash sponsor, Dodge. See your local Dodge dealer today. Hernandez coming in clutch, representing his sponsor as well here today. And that will be our 6th caution of the night. As we're going to really start whittling away at the field here. It still shows 27 drivers on the lead lap, but I'm curious to see what that will be as the pace car makes its way around. As I believe Gus Moody in the 84 will be retired for the evening. Heller looks like he's going an alternative strategy here. Is the only driver, I believe, to stay out. Barkuski was in and out, only taking fuel his last pit stop on lap 11. But from about 7th place back, you've got a lot of fast drivers. Tate Lytle, Johnny Eckert, Vandermeed, Weeks, Roethlisberger, Silvers, Doyle, Penn, White, all came in a lap 61. They took 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas. At this rate, they could probably make it to the end on fuel after that pit stop if they're going to be cruising laps. And here we go once more. It's Heller and Barkuski, 2 teammates on the front row. Now things are going to get very exciting here as you got a lot of different guys on different tire strategies. So a large portion of the field came in at lap 61 and about a handful of drivers opted to stay out here, banking on another caution to come relatively early. As you're on board with Heller, he's about less than 0.2 of a second ahead of his teammate Brandon Barkuski. And you've also got Kyle Hall, number 87 machine. He's up to 3rd for the first time here today. Behind Hall, a whole lot of fast drivers are charging through here. Hall's last pit stop was lap 39. We believe he took tires on that stop. Top 10 rapidly catching your race leaders here. Hall looks to the inside line, trying to squeeze by Barkuski. Vandermeed, I believe, also trying that inside line as well. He's right behind the number 56 of Lytle, I believe. Barkuski drops quickly back to 6 as he's getting, oh no, Kyle Hall goes for a ride on the inside wall. Lock up the brakes. Oh, there's a lot of drivers coming as he quickly hops down to the apron. The field checks up. As we're going to see what happened to Hall there. Not sure if he takes a shove from the 56 of Lytle. It looked like Heller may have checked up. It's a hard one to call so far. I think he checked up to avoid getting into the back of Heller's bright pink number 11. And then Lytle tagged him and sent the number 87 of Kyle Hall spinning around. We're going to watch that one once more, but from Lytle's point of view. As we find the caution in our broadcast software here once more. There's a lot going on up here in the booth today. The old replay button really getting a workout. So we're going to go on board with Tate Lytle. Did he even touch him before? Let's take a better look here. That won't do. That won't do. That's even worse. Yeah, just unfortunately made contact with Hall. Thought he was going to be clear on the outside line, and Hall and the number 87 machine going to take a pretty nasty ride down to the inside apron. As we have reached 7 cautions, not even to the halfway mark tonight. Those who were wagering that we'd have over 15 cautions are looking good. As Heller and Barkuski will come down pit road. As we're going to see if we can try and get these things going for these drivers. Now it'll be Lytle and Vandermeet on the front row, Eckert and Roethlisberger your second row, Doyle and Weeks your third row. A lot of fast guys in the top 10. Let's talk about Nick Terrell, number 81 machine. Playing his strategy right so far today. He's up 26 spots so far. His last pit stop 32 laps ago on lap 40, where he took 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas. Let's see what Lytle and Vandermeet can do on the front row. As we get ready for the pace car to dip into pit lane and send our drivers out. And here we go, the green flag flies. Lytle with a great launch, as well as Roethlisberger on the outside line. Vandermeet trying to stay with it up here, keep himself in podium contention. Harrington leads the lane after 1 minute and 22 seconds. Getting repairs done on his machine. Now it is Lytle, Roethlisberger, Vandermeet, our top 3. You've also got Matthew Weeks and Johnny Eckert rounding out the top 5. And it looks like everybody in this pack, really in the top 10, top 15, all came on lap 61 for 4 tires and fuel. As you're on board with Vandermeet, he's about 0.3 seconds back from your race leaders, Tate Lytle and Roethlisberger. And behind Vandermeet is Eckert. So he knows Eckert has been one of the odds-on favorites to run up front here if we ever get some clean racing. So So it's always interesting to see who's going to race hard and who's going to try and plan to survive to the end of this 200-lap feature event. Vandermeer having a whole lot of pressure from Eckert here. As they run nose to tail, Eckert looks to the inside line. Vandermeer will yield the position relatively uncontested, realizing, all right, Johnny's willing to send it in that deep this early on into a fuel run. Let him have it. Let him maybe burn up some tires. But while these guys are battling for track position, they're also planning on future restarts. If they're in an even place when the caution comes out, that means they'll start on the outside line. And if you're running, first, third, fifth, an odd number, that means you'll be on the inside line for the restart. And with the restarts being so important, a great place to make up some quick and easy spots, that is something these drivers are going to plan on. As now we're going to take it on board with Eckert, currently running third, trying to catch down Lytle and Roethlisberger that are glued nose to tail down the straightaway. Eckert is very slowly gaining some time here. Now we show a crash with Harrington, but he's able to return back to pit lane without bringing out the caution here. Not quite to the halfway mark of the race. As Lytle and Roethlisberger doing a great job right nose to tail, just keeping their head downs, hitting their marks. Let's check out other hard chargers. Hunter Matulanis up 16 positions to number 44, currently running 6th on track here today. Now is Roethlisberger going to try and challenge for the lead against Tate Lytle? He is. He's going to go to the inside line. And it looks like he's going to have it cleared here. Now Roethlisberger, he's racing with Outlaw Racing. And Lytle with Mountain Man Motorsports. But now Eckert's worked his way up into second ahead of Tate Lytle. Vandermeer still running fourth. Matulanis, he's running fifth. As I'm going to pop a quick cough drop, I think I'm going to be in for a long night here. Right now, it's Silver's number 17 machine. Our current hard charger has worked his way up 29 positions, just ever so slightly in the top 10, running in front of Christopher Heller in the number 11. Now, Heller has been historically fast all season when bad luck does not mar him or his teammates' good fortune. Now we're checking out Doyle, number 32 machine. He's got Madalanas right behind him. He's doing his best to catch up to Vandermeed. Vandermeed in 4th place, number 7. He's about 6 to 7 tenths ahead of Doyle, who's running 5th on track here today. Terry Freer in the number 46 machine. He'll come down pit road on lap 89. Look at this battle going on. That is Lane Doyle being chased by Madalanas as well as Alex Penn, Ron White, all there. We're going to switch it back to Ron White so you can watch the battle unfold in front of you. That is the 3-car battle for 5th spot. Really a 4-car battle at this point as White gets a little bit closer to the rear bumper of Alex Penn and the number 30. As, oh no, Madalanas has a bit of a bobble in the 44 machine, tags the outside wall. That will allow Alex Penn to gain a position. Ron White's thinking better of it, playing it safe as Madalanas has another bobble. The car gets all sort of unsettled, so now he will slot back into 8th place. Both Penn and White move up a position. Penn in 6th, White in 7th. As let's go back a little bit further up front. Things are getting a little bit hairy as Eckert's going to have to cut through traffic here. He's got Tate Lytle and Zach Roethlisberger going side by side for 2nd place. As look at this, Eckert is about to be in all sorts of excitement. I believe that may be Carrington just ahead of your race leader. It is Carrington in the number 9 machine. How on earth are our race leaders going to be able to cut through traffic here today? Carrington yields the inside line to the race leaders. Eckert holding on for dear life here. This has got to be a white knuckle moment for all of these drivers, both lead cars and lap cars alike. The number 57 and 37 both yielding the inside line to your race leaders. Eckert and Lytle get through clean. Vandermeed not able to do so quite as quickly. Vandermeed stuck behind lap traffic, but he's got to be patient. There's no sense in wrecking your race car trying to make something happen. As we go back to your race leader, Eckert, Lytle was able to stay glued to Eckert's bumper through that traffic. Not having too many incidents as we start putting drivers' laps down. I believe just ahead that may be Markuski in the number 25 machine. Eckert and Lytle extending their gap to about 1.2 seconds over Vandermeed in third. Can't tell, that is Markuski, number 25 machine. Trying his best to stay on the lead lap, but now Eckert's going to go to the inside line, going into turn one. Lytle will follow suit. And now only 29 drivers on the lead lap as we approach the halfway mark of tonight's main event. Now the last time your top 10 drivers came down pit road was on lap 61. So if, and boy is that a big if, we have that good green flag run, we should be able to see these guys stretch it out to around lap 135 to lap 140 at the most. Vandermeer seems to have gotten through traffic. He's still about 1.2 seconds back from Tate Lytle. And now he does not have the draft support. Now granted, oh no, I take it back. Lytle gives the outside wall some love. And he will quickly lose a half second to your race leader, Eckert. And that's going to allow Vandermeer a chance of redemption. Now Vandermeer's within striking distance, less than a second back as they dive into turns 3 and 4. But will Vandermeer be able to save the tires as he's getting heavily pressured by Roethlisberger in the number 23 machine? He wants to put his car in podium contention and maybe get that inside line when we have our next caution as Roethlisberger looks to the inside line. Vandermeer on the outside. Vandermeer keeps him pinned down to the inside. Gets a good drive coming out of 3 and 4. Excuse me, 1 and 2. Roethlisberger doing everything he can. Vandermeer gets a little bit loose there. Not sure if he had some help or not. Vandermeer still doing a great job. Hold on to third. Roethlisberger doing everything in his power to try and get around the number 7 machine. As, oh, was that Silvers? And the number 21 almost gets collected with a teammate there. Yes, it was. This has been a surprise night of navigating traffic for these fast drivers as we go back to Eckert and look what he's dealing with, more and more traffic. As this has got to be a white knuckle experience for, again, all parties. You've got your race leaders. They absolutely do not want to bin it when they've got such a comfortable lead over the large portion of the field, continuing putting drivers' laps down. Only 25 out of 43 drivers are still in the lead lap here past the halfway mark. But it is also terrifying to be the driver that's getting lapped as well, as lap traffic working its way around the race leader. That was the 37 of Elliott Henderson, who's down, I believe, 2 laps, possibly 3 here. But coming out with a fresh race car and new tires, he'll be able to hot lap pretty darn quick. But as we're saying again, it's terrifying being the driver that's getting overtaken and putting a lap down when the closing speeds are, I mean, even 10 to 20 miles an hour. Is enough to surprise you a little bit as they come blasting around, and you absolutely do not want to make a crucial mistake that maybe ruins someone else's night. Eckert and Lytle are going to go side by side here. Eckert's got him by about half a car length. Lytle drifts up the high line, and they've got lap traffic going too wide in front of them. nowhere to go as your race leaders go side by side. That is Shane Gentry in the number 26 machine. Traffic trying to move out of the way, but accidentally blocking the leaders. They're going to go 3 wide with the race leader. Tate Lytle cuts through traffic. He splits the needle. Eckert says that's way too risky for me. Lytle willing to gamble a little bit more. Eckert willing to play it safe. Eckert's lost about a half second to Lytle here. Roethlisberger has a bit of a shimmy as well. If he caught it there at the tail end of that last frame, gets a little bit rear end loose. And here comes Vandermeer trying to capitalize as Vandermeer looks to the inside line. Scroggins comes down pit road on lap 113, as well as John Simpson Jr., Shane Gentry. Roethlisberger currently holds the 3rd place spot. Vandermeer doing everything he can to keep that car from drifting up in the track into Roethlisberger. We got a little bit of smoke ahead, but don't see any instance. That may have just been an aggressive entry into pit road. At this point in the run, these guys have about 50 to 55 laps on a set of tires. The car is going to get very, very tight. And you may see a few more unscheduled meetings with our good friend Outside Wall. Vandermeer takes over the spot once more from Roethlisberger, able to cut through traffic. We're going to go back to your race leader, Tate Lytle. Who still has Eckert glued to the rear bumper of the number 56 machine. Eckert in the pink and white number 90. Lytle in the primarily white with red accents, number 56. And these guys just cutting through traffic like an absolute scalpel here today. That was Shane Gentry leaving pit lane, and look at this in front of the race leaders. There's 3 wide action. This is not what Tate Lytle and Eckert wants to see here. They've got to be on their toes, foot on the brake pedal, ready to cover it in case somebody bends it in front of them. As they will safely get around the number 16 machine of Justin Bentley. What a wild night this is. Bentley comes down pit road. Rex comes out, as well as Robert Hill. And there's other racing going on track that's not necessarily for this 1st and 2nd place spot, but this is absolutely hair-raising watching Lytle try and cut through traffic as everybody's bobbing and weaving in front of him. Is that Barkuski in the number 25 machine that maybe came out with fresh tires? Blowing the doors off the race leader. That's the difference between 4 good tires and a worn-out set will do to you. But how long is Lytle and Eckert going to stay out here for? Thiel comes down pit lane, a good friend of ours racing the 01 machine. 17 drivers still on the lead lap. 121 laps into tonight's race. Lytle has about a half-second advantage over Eckert. Eckert finds himself dicing it up with traffic once more. As you got guys coming back out on track with fresh rubber. That is Gentry in the bright pink number 26 machine. Always an easy car to spot. Gentry looking to the inside line. Now Gentry is on lap 118 while the leaders are on lap 122. So if he can get his lap back here, he may be able to get back on the lead lap as Eckert and Roethlisberger come down pit road. As no, Gentry has a bit of a bobble coming out with those fresh tires. And that's another difficult part for these guys, is they get used to worn out tires, a very tight race car, and then you come out with a brand new set of sticker tires and the car is a lot looser than you remember it being for the last 20 to 30 minutes. And it's very common to see guys kind of throw it away on their out lap, trying to use their same braking marks and throttle marks to make something happen. Eckert keeping Lytle within striking distance, still about 4/10 back from your race leader. These guys have about a 3.7 second advantage over Roethlisberger, who's back in third. And we're going to have another caution coming out of lap 25 to throw another monkey wrench. It shows DJ Weeks Jr. involved in that. Let's take a look and see who may else have been invited to the party. We're watching Weeks, the number 97 machine. What happens here? He looks to the inside line. It just gets ran over by the number 5. That was Steve Rex having his big bobble of the night. We're going to try and get Rex's view here. Rex just cooks it in too deep. Maybe thought he was going to get clear on the outside line. But DJ Weeks gets sent for an absolute violent ride here. Let's go on board with Rex. I'm going to back that up. Are we seeing more and more netcode here today? Or just a good old-fashioned somebody got murdered? You're on board with Steven Rex, and no, he's going to hit that bumper nice and hard. And unfortunately, the no bumping sticker of DJ Weeks will not help him out here. As most of the field comes in, Fitzsimmons opts to stay out. His last pit stop 57 laps ago on lap 70. So Fitzsimmons trying to get some track position. A large portion of the field comes in for what could be the final time or their final set of tires. And let's see what the caution count is up to now. That's going to be our 8th caution of the day. I've got to say, though, we're looking okay to be less than 15 cautions here tonight. We're more than halfway past through the race. And we are about halfway to our caution wager. So all in all, I'd say it's a pretty good evening with the friends. As let's see, looks to be about 14 drivers still on the lead lap. We've got Westergreen, Weeks, Carrington, and Hall in pit road, getting some more repairs done on their machines. You know who I'm not envious of tonight is Race Control. Those guys are having quite the busy evening. And let's see where my 3 drivers are out on track in the Team Goon Squad backed machines. We've got Tyler Watts still rolling. He's back in 27th. We've got Proctor in number 36 machine. He's 24th on track. I believe that's the only two Team Goon Squad drivers we have here tonight. Now these guys should be able to make it to the end on fuel at this point. Most of the field has opted to take their final set of tires. And we're only going to have 15 drivers on the lead lap in a field that started with 43. As we have at least 6 or 7 drivers that have parked it for the evening. Fitzsimmons will be out front, but he's on much older tires than the rest of the field here. Still gets a good launch in the 06 machine, but he's got Lytle, Eckert, Weeks, Roethlisberger, Vandermeet all coming strong. Fitzsimmons goes wide. Lytle and Eckert quickly make their way around, as well as Weeks in the number 2 machine. Here comes Vandermeet, seeing if he can squeeze his way around. Roethlisberger also making his way through. Ooh, somebody's trying to crash back there. I believe that was Heller, a little bit sideways. Up front, Eckert battling for the lead with Tate Lytle. He's going to look to the inside line in the next corner. Looks like Lytle wasn't really trying to contest the next go around, saying, all right, we've got 70 laps. Let's burn up some tires early on in the run. We had a fairly good run that last go around compared to the rest of the evening. So as the field whittles away, we've got less and less drivers in the lead lap. You may see the racing get a little bit cleaner, as it looks like for the most part the field is running single file here. As these guys trying to carry as much slip angle as they possibly can. Lane Doyle, number 32 machine, he's going to try and get around Vandermeet and take over that top 5 spot. Vandermeet has been on a bit of a winning streak here lately in other leagues he runs, trying to carry that over to the All-American ARCA every Friday night, broadcasting live on the Team Goon Squad channel. So keep an eye out on the number 7 machine, as he's been getting faster and faster week in and week out. Heller and Silvers were doing a bit of hard racing as well. Silvers up 29 positions inside the top 10 here today. He's going to try his best to get back around Heller, while he's also facing pressure from Matalanas. Matalanas looks to the inside line of Silvers. He should be able to make it stick here. As we go back up front, your top 3 is kind of stretched out here. Eckert has about a 7/10 of a second advantage over Tate Lytle in second. Lytle has about 7/10 over Roethlisberger in third. And then once you go back to Vandermeet in fourth, that is a whole lot of company, as Doyle, White, Penn, Weeks, Heller, all here, all within striking distance of Vandermeet, who is holding on for dear life to that 4th place spot in the number 7 machine. Fitzsimmons comes back out of pit lane. We've got another caution, though. We see Nick Terrell went off track. Not sure if anybody else is going to be heavily involved in that one. We'll take a quick look. Might not be a bad one. It was a bad one. Who's that? The number 16 machine? Oh, Terrell tagged the outside wall. Got into the number 16 machine of Justin Bentley, and that's going to ruin both of their nights. And that will be the 9th caution of the day. We're going to take a quick break so I can grab some more water and cough drops. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll be right back with more action at the Delaware 200. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. And we are back getting the field formed up. And as we were at that commercial break, thank you so much to our viewers across the world supporting us in every way they can. We see the guys join in every week supporting the channel. We notice our friends that have joined the Discord, our Patreon members as well. Thank you all so much for allowing us to be part of your life here at the All-American ARCA Series every Friday night with a whole lot of action week in and week out. We're on our 9th caution of the day. We're going to get them formed up once more, double file. It's going to be Eckert and Lytle on the front row. Roethlisberger, Vandermeer your second row. Doyle and White your third row. Still anybody's guess. I'd say there's about 15 drivers that could possibly bring home a win here today, as we've got 15 on the lead lap still. And let's see what Lytle and Eckert can do on the front row. It seemed like Lytle was willing to set the pace early on. As we've got drivers limping out of pit lane, I believe that's going to be Nick Terrell getting back out on track, as well as Carrington in the number 9 machine. Pace car will be in, this time by as Eckert doing as much fuel saving as can so he can try and make it the duration of this event. Not sure if he has any tires left. I believe he's only pitted twice, so he should have one more set left in reserves. So if we get a caution with about 25 laps left to go, if these guys have a tire set left, they are most likely going to take it at that point. Here we go. It is Eckert, and looks like Lytle did not get a good launch at all. Roethlisberger will take over the second place spot. Vandermeed's taking over the fourth place spot as well, with Ron White and Lane Doyle right behind him. They're all going to be jockeying for position before these tires get a little bit too hot. White looks to the inside line among Vandermeed. Not quite able to make it stick yet, but let's see what he can do into turn one, as now he's got the preferred line. He's going to dive it in deep in this number 27 machine. White on the inside line, Vandermeed on the mid line. And there's a whole lot of drivers coming. Vandermeed may have either bobbled the wall or maybe overcorrected and upset the number 7 machine, but it's going to work out well for him as he holds on to the fourth place spot. Up ahead of him, it's still Eckert, Roethlisberger, and Lytle. As this battle for the fourth place spot is all sorts of wild. It's Vandermeed leading this pack of drivers. You've got Doyle and White going side by side. You've also got Heller and Penn, Alex Penn, trying to get up here as well. Again, Alex Penn, the youngest of the Penn brothers. First of all, always appreciate those the entire family support every week, but also great to see him doing well despite racing from a hotel room here today. I want to say as well, Alex Penn went to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, where he's currently near, and they have a sim racing rig set up there, and he's able to put down a top 5 time at the museum as well. So doesn't matter what he's driving, kart, skip, barbers, the man is quick, and he knows his craft. Lane Doyle still in 5th, right on the rear bumper of Vandermeed. Vandermeed, he's about 0.6 of a second back from third place Tate Lytle. As I believe Vandermeed and Doyle may work together here. Try and run single file for a little bit, maybe catch up to the battle for second that's going on as Roethlisberger and Lytle go side by side. That is going to allow both Vandermeed and Doyle to maybe catch up to that lead pack and interject themselves into the party as Lytle and Roethlisberger still going side by side, get it back single file going into turn 3. But that allowed Vandermeed to pick up almost a half a second on that lap. Nine laps left. We're about 3/4 through tonight's main event. As it looks like everybody's want to go single file for a little while longer. It's still Eckert out front, Roethlisberger second, Lytle third, Vandermeed fourth, and Doyle round out our top 5 here. We're going to pan back to Vandermeed as he's got all the excitement going on. That will be a massive battle for fourth, still taken up, as I believe that was Alex Penn, may have left a little bit of racing stripes on the outside wall. Now something kind of interesting to note here for the All-American ARCA Series, some of these guys are using the built-in sim provide spotter. Some guys are using real-life counterpart spotters. So a good example, Zach Roethlisberger, currently running a second on track, number 23 machine. He's got John Lynch with Spino Racing as his spotter, as we're going to have another caution late into the race with 45 laps left to go. It is Christopher Heller. So for the guys such as Roethlisberger that have friends providing spotting service for them, it is a massive benefit as they get to call out what may be going on further off track that the sim doesn't see. Let's see what happens to Heller. Who was that he got in touch with there? Let's take another look at that one. That was the 32 machine of Lane Doyle. Just not enough space for those two guys, I suppose. Try and get a better angle here. See if it's net code, if it's contact. It's tough to call. There's a good shot. And trying to get a better angle here. Oh, he just gets tagged from behind. So we're going to try and watch that from Doyle's point of view. Yeah, Doyle doesn't touch the outside wall. Didn't really show any reaction at all. That's a tough one to call. I'm not sure if maybe Heller came up or if it was netcode or what that one was. Now we'll bring out one more caution. That's going to be our 10th caution of the night. Now, at what point is driver attrition going to play a factor here as the guys start getting a little bit hot, a little bit tired, and a little bit sweaty in their sim rigs? As I gotta say, I mean, it's tiring up here in the broadcast booth for 2 hours. I couldn't imagine being behind the wheel. I say I couldn't imagine. I've done it before, and let me tell you, it's exhausting. So let's see, Eckert and Roethlisberger. Really, everybody inside the top 6. Last came in a lap 126. You've got Hunter Matalanas. He came in a lap 140. Looks like he took tires and maybe a bit of repairs as well. As we're going to have, I believe, 40 laps left to go as they cross the line. Most of the field should be pretty comfortable here to make it on fuel. But I believe our top 6 drivers, Eckert, Roethlisberger, Lytle, Vandermeer, Doyle, Penn, I am fairly certain they've got one more set of tires left in reserve here at Delaware. And I would wager if we get another caution with about 25 laps left to go, we will see those guys come in and maybe use their final set. Let's see what's going to happen in the closing laps here at Dover for the Delaware 200. It's Eckert and Roethlisberger on the front row. Vandermeer, Lytle, your second row. Alex, Penn, and Doyle, your third row. As here comes Eckert, he's known for his great launches. Let's see what Roethlisberger is going to do as he gets a little bit of a help from Tate Lytle. And the number 56, Vandermeet slots back in fourth is the number 7 machine. Now, we wagered that there's going to be over 15 cautions tonight. 72% of our viewers betting on 15 cautions. We're only 10 cautions deep, but there's still plenty of time to wad up some perfectly good race cars. As Roethlisberger goes wide, Tate Lytle goes to the inside. And they touch, they make contact just ever so slightly. Lytle gets into Roethlisberger from what it looked like from my point of view. Vandermeet uses that opportunity to get a little bit closer within striking distance of a podium. But Vandermeet, he's going to feel a lot of pressure from Alex Penn, number 30 machine, inside line. Not quite enough to make it stick here. As now it is Eckert, Lytle, Roethlisberger, Vandermeet, Weeks, and Penn. And another, are we going to have a caution that shows Elliott Henderson as a crash? That incident did not bring out the caution. So we're going to keep it rolling. And here comes Matthew Weeks. Weeks kind of came out of nowhere. He last pitted on lap 156, taking the fresh tires, gambling on a green flag run and trying to pick up some track position as he has moved up 11 spots from where he started, the number 2 machine. He's worked his way up into podium contention, and now he's going to try and track down Tate Lytle, as well as Johnny Eckert. Both Eckert and Lytle have wins so far this season. And here we go. We got a battle, not much of a battle. Weeks easily takes over the second place spot from Tate Lytle. And now he's going to battle for the lead with jumping Johnny Eckert. He'll get through nice and easy. That's the difference between 30-lap tires versus Weeks' much fresher set. Now again, it was Lytle that won at the Daytona 200, our season opener, and it was Eckert that won at Chicagoland 200 just last week. If this is any sign of what the championship's going to look like, I am excited. As the laps start clicking off, Matthew Weeks going to extend his lead over the majority of the field. He's already about a second ahead of second place Johnny Eckert. And he will be one of the first drivers with the luxury of cutting through traffic here at Dover. Again, only 16 drivers on the lead lap. As Eckert and Lytle still put on a show for second. And a lot going on around that 7th and 8th place mark as Alex Penn loses a couple spots to Christopher Heller and Ron White. Alex Penn unfortunately losing a few more shots as here comes Silver's number 17 machine picking up another spot. Silver's our hard charger. He's up 30 positions, working his way inside the top 10, now running 9th. Christopher Heller also involved in a battle between David Westergreen, Zach Roethlisberger, and Ron White. He's joining the party. And look at Westergreen go. He came in lap 156 the same time Matthew Weeks did. But all that work may be for naught as we're going to have a caution come out. It shows as Carol Steele and Craig Martin, Derek Cook involved. Let's take a quick peek. and see who may be going home tonight with some wadded up machinery. Oh, that looks like a Team Goon Squad car causing that incident. Yes, that is going to be Tyler Watts. Let's back that camera angle up because it looks like Watts tags the outside wall. Yeah, I think that's going to be all on him, unfortunately. Coming wide, tags the outside line. Heller gets into him. He bumps the 35 field with nowhere to go, and then Watts is going to get airborne, murdering a poor innocent cone here as the field locks up the brakes. No ARCA brakes here today, ladies and gentlemen. And that will bring out, I think, our 11th caution of the night. Yes, that will be the 11th caution of the night. Good to see our good friend Dwayne MacArthur join us, one of our favorite fast Canadians. Supporting the broadcast here today as we're in eye-pacing conditions. What a night. Drivers have been on track for an hour and 45 minutes. The broadcast has been live for about 2 hours, so a long night for everybody involved. And now you're going to see a lot of guys, Eckert, Lytle, Terrell, Roethlisberger, Vandermeer, Doyle coming in, taking their last set of tires with about 25 laps left to go once they cross the line. As it is going to be Weeks and Westergreen, your front row, Heller and White, your second row. And then on the third row, you've got Dipple and Eckert, but keep an eye on Eckert, the number 90 machine, as he will be the first car out on track that came in on that lap 172 pit stop. Taking that set of tires, we saw how fast Weeks and Westergreen were when they were on 30-lap newer tires. Now Eckert, Lytle, Roethlisberger, they're coming out on about 15 to 16-lap newer tires. Excuse me. Let's see how long Weeks and Westergreen, as well as Heller and White, will be able to hold on to it, and as well as Dipple. The top five all came around lap 156, 157 for their final stop, so they have no more tires left in the bank. It's going to be 25 laps left to go when they cross the line. We've had 11 cautions. We're still 4 short on the over-under of 15 cautions here today. Pace car will be coming in this time by. Will we make it to the end, or is it going to be more of the same here in the final laps? Weeks with a great launch. Westergreen doesn't have the launch he wants. That's going to allow Heller to take over the second place spot early with this start. This is where things can get dicey. We've got a lot of fast guys with fresh tires as Eckert slices through the field of number 90 machine. He wants to get as much distance between himself and Roethlisberger as well as Lytle as he possibly can. And it seems to be working for him as he's keeping a few drivers behind him that were on that lap 156 pit cycle. Roethlisberger moves up into 4th. Doyle and Lytle take over 5th at 6th. Vandermeet up into 7th. The guys with fresh tires are starting to cut their way through here. As now Eckert heavily pressuring Chris Heller, number 11 machine. Again, Weeks and Heller came in a lap 156 to 157. So a little bit older tires than Eckert has. Eckert still has about a second advantage over Ford, so he's in no big rush to try and cut through here. And that rush will be over as the caution comes out again for the 12th time here today. This time it shows is Lane Doyle involved. Let's see who else may have gotten tagged. Doyle in the number 32 machine just as self-spin sends it sliding out the outside wall. And oh no, is that Alex Penn? Alex Penn, nowhere to go, gets absolutely drilled. Oh no, hate to see it for the road racer extraordinaire. Taking on board with Alex Penn. The hood gets popped as Lane Doyle came across the track. Penn nowhere to go. And that will bring out once again another caution. It's been a night of cautions punctuated by racing here today at Delaware. No, excuse me, that's the 12th caution of the night. We are getting mighty close to that over-under wager here in the Twitch chat, excuse me, YouTube chat. I don't even know where I'm at this point. I don't think our racers do either. They're out there going, is this Martinsville here today? Let's go ahead and get some F's in the chat for Alex Penn, the road racing pro, involved in an incident he had nothing to do with here today. Hopefully he can get that car hammered back into shape and back out on track. It still shows him in 10th place out on track. We got a report from one of the spotters for Zach Roethlisberger stating there is only 9 minutes left in the session, so we may end this under eye-pacing conditions. That would absolutely be a first. Now we had our friend Dwayne MacArthur saying, hey, now's the time to take some tires. Unfortunately, these guys with no fast repairs only have 3 sets of tires available to them in the pit road. As thank you to our viewers, giving major props and respect to our friend Alex Penn. Again, Alex Penn racing from a hotel room here tonight to meet his sponsorship obligations, score those points. As he somehow still shows out on track. As yeah, with 8 minutes left to go in the session, 19 laps, it's not looking good for the guys here today. We got Bo Chick saying we want overtime. The bloodthirst has not been satisfied here at Dover. Now that would be wild if we finish this with a iRacing white flag with the session ending. Now, if you're listening along at home and you're new to iRacing, supporting some of your favorite drivers, and you really have no idea what's going on besides your good friend, family member, partner, whatever it may be, is out on track and they're going fast and they're turning left and they're doing it over and over again. When they set up these league events, you set an allotted time. And if you reach that time limit, your time in the track is done. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, not counting pit stops, this would be a 50-minute race. As you all know, we're well past that mark. We're an hour and 54 minutes into the race. As we've had 12 cautions, all the drivers having plenty of time to think about their life choices, the mistakes they have made that led them back to their hauler early on. Now, next week we go to Nashville Super Speedway for the Tennessee 225. That's going to be 169 laps. And then on October 29th, we're going to New Smyrna Speedway for 200 laps. That is going to be all sorts of out of control. To give you an idea of how small Smyrna is, the street stock drivers, or excuse me, not street stock, the ARCA drivers do about 16-second lap times there. Pace car comes in. It's going to be 17 to go as they cross the line. We've got our good friend Jeremy Barber saying, as I would say, full send. Find a teammate, have him cause a caution, especially if you're out in front like Matthew Weeks, who has a huge 4/10 of a second advantage over Christopher Heller. Weeks and Heller on that lap, 156 set of tires. Eckert trying to make his way through in the number 90 machine. He looks up to the inside of Heller, knowing time is limited, about 5 minutes left from what we understand. He's also going to be mighty careful here not to get into the side of the number 11 to cause a big incident late. Nobody wants to end this with a timeout and under caution. Let the boys race as Eckert doing everything in his power to try and catch up to Heller. Behind him, Lytle and Roethlisberger putting on a show, trying to squeeze their way up into the top four. Both Lytle and Roethlisberger on that 172 lap set of tires, both coming down pit road together for that final set. As right now we're watching Eckert to see if he can squeeze his way around Heller somehow, some way. 15 laps left to go, or 4 minutes, whatever comes first. I'll give you a spoiler here, fans. It's going to be 4 minutes. Eckert doing everything he can to try and get a nose in to make Heller yield the inside line. But Heller knows what it takes to run up front week in and week out. Carrington looks like he's going to limp it out of pit road. Number 9 machine with heavy damage. No, he's coming into pit road. Eckert still on the inside quarter panel of Heller. He may have it here going into 1. He's got the inside line. He's going to do his best to quickly get through Heller. As he knows, Tate Lytle, the number 56 machine, is charging hard here. 13 laps left to go, about 3.5 minutes possibly left in the race. We're not sure what's going to happen. As now Tate Lytle is going to squeeze up the inside line of Heller, putting those new tires up to use. Now will Lytle have enough time to catch up to Eckert, as Eckert is going to try and work on Weeks. If Eckert gets slowed down at all here battling with Weeks, that's going to allow Lytle the opportunity to put himself into the position. We've got another crash as Proctor involved in an incident. He takes a quick toe back to pit lane. The caution will not fly yet. That's the big emphasis on that one. As here's the battle for the race lead. Johnny Eckert goes to the inside of Matthew Weeks. They're side by side. Eckert's got it by half a car length. Weeks trying to work the side draft. The caution will come out. 11 laps left to go. We may time out here. It's Eckert, Weeks, and Lytle, your top three. My, oh my, what a night here at the Delaware 200. That's not the laps, that's the hours this race is going to take to complete. Let's see what happened to Thiel in the 01 machine. He gets a little bit loosey-goosey, tags the outside wall, narrowly avoids getting to Scroggins, locks up the brakes as everyone careens around him. He yeets it almost back onto the racetrack, catches himself on the apron, and barely avoids high-siding that 01 machine. Now here's the question, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10 laps left to go. We've got a hard time limit coming up in 2 minutes. Is this the race? As Tate Lytle rapidly drops off, what happened to Lytle? Lytle gets ran over by the 23. Under caution, he gets absolutely punterinoed. What are they doing out there? Not sure if it was a mechanical or a possible... Roethlisberger may have just been caught sleeping there, and he absolutely ran over Tate Lytle. Let's get an onboard there. Just realized it's the last second what's going on, and Lytle's just getting, man, punted. So Lytle is going to have to pray here that we finish under caution, as he will have a little bit of damage to the back of the number 56 machine after the grade A ARCA brakes. Now, live time and scoring showing we have about 45 seconds left by the time you hear this on my voice. And we might time out. We might not be able to get to the over-under here today just due to time. It's going to be about 7 laps left to go when they cross the line, but we've got apparently 30 seconds left in the session. Boy, is the radioactive going to be fun to film for this week. And again, if you haven't heard our radioactive from last week at Chicagoland, we put in the chat for you something to watch after the broadcast. Maybe while you sip on your adult beverage and call it a night. Now we're 2 hours in. It's 8 laps left to go. We don't see a white flag being thrown yet. But we're being told by the spotter of the number 23 machine that the race should end here. I've never seen a night like tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute bloodbath here at the Delaware 200. And yes, the checkered flag will fly. It's going to be Eckert, Weeks, and Lytle finishing the race. We have ran out of time. Our track rental has run out here at Dover. Dwayne MacArthur saying, put another quarter in the machine. I mean, who would imagine that what was supposed to be a 50-lap race under green flag times out 2 hours in? So it's going to be Eckert brings home the win, Weeks second, Lytle third. I've never seen such a thing, ladies and gentlemen. And that is iPacing at its finest. I've never seen a race timeout like this. So Eckert in the number 90 machine will make it 2 in a row here today, as we're going to try and get our drivers up into the waiting room for podium interviews. We'll try and get our drivers up here. As we've got Bo Chick saying great race all around. I'm not sure I would consider that the bestest or the cleanest of the races, but it was entertaining. And really, that's what we're all here for. Zach Roethlisberger in the number 23, he picks up a 4th place. I believe that may be a career best. As the guys are going to burn it down in style here at Delaware. Up first in the podium room, we've got Tate Lytle in the number 56 machine, bringing home 3rd. Tate, I mean, what do you say besides what a night after 2 hours of iPacing?
Yeah, that was brutal, man. I felt like I had the fastest car tonight, I'm always the type of guy that's going to try and save my tires though, and I'm sure it was pretty noticeable when once we got 20, 30 laps on our tires, I had the pace advantage over those guys. But I mean, good win to Johnny. He earned that. I mean, he definitely earned that. Weeks teammate up in P2, he earned that P2 with that strategy call. I'm not sure what the 23 was doing, but it looks like he's going to lose some license points there for junking me after the caution. I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad I gave you my spots back. I mean, I was going to at least fight for him back regardless, but I don't know what he was doing. I felt like I raced him pretty clean. I felt like I raced everybody pretty clean for the most part. I might have turned. Who did I turn? I turned somebody on accident when they were on old tires. They checked up off of 4, and I kind of got him. They ruled it as a racing deal, and that's kind of how I saw it too. I don't know if that was a 23 or not. I don't think it was, but if it was, he was sure pretty salty about it, and he was racing me pretty hard, blocking me. Which I mean, you blocking these cars, you're just asking to get sent. Just because if you bump, it's not a bump. You're getting. I mean, your rear tires are lifting off the ground, and you have zero control, and it's going to be a crash every time. So I mean, I was lifting pretty early for those guys. I just gotta commend Johnny for racing me super super clean. Love racing with that guy. Matthew Weeks, he's been a teammate of mine for like 2 years. Love racing him as well. I know he's going to give me at least enough room to be able to make something happen. And thanks to Casey and Kyle and whoever else owns the league. I'm still pretty new, so I don't really know everyone's name, but thanks to them for giving me a spot to race, and Robert Hill for putting a car on the track for me. Days Gone By for helping me out. Go check him out. He's got a Etsy store on Twitter. It's in his Twitter link. Literally just go to Days Gone By on Twitter, click the link in his bio, and you'll find some super awesome vintage racing apparel for pretty reasonably priced. I've bought a lot. But yeah, fun race. I mean, I wish we could have raced. It felt like we were just throwing it in there and blocking for no reason when we had 40 lap older tires, some of them, and I was just doing what I could to kind of keep it steady. I wish Weeks could have edged out Eckert there just for the point situation, because I think it's kind of, I haven't looked necessarily, but I know me and Eckert are the two that have wins so far, and I've gotten first, third. I think he's gotten like ninth, first, or something like that. So he's probably closing in on me on the points. So at least you'll should have a pretty good points battle. I feel like me and Johnny are pretty equal on a lot of different tracks. I might have him on the edge on like maybe tire save, but I feel like when it comes to short run stuff, he has me pretty consistently. So should be in for a pretty good one. It's just going to be kind of how these races play out on which one of us ends up on top. And I enjoy racing with him. That one long run where we were able to kind of gap the field, and it was just kind of me and him out in La La Land trying to dodge all the obstacles that these guys were throwing at us. It was pretty crazy. I don't know if you caught it on there or not, but pretty crazy stuff. So props to him for keeping it clean. He earned that win. Weeks earned P2. I did everything I could to go get that win, but P3 is as good as we're going to do. And, you know, second and third for Mountain Man Motorsports. I'm sure Bobby Mountain won't be too upset with that. But, yeah, it's frustrating to get third. I think I probably led the most laps. I felt like I was out front a lot. I don't know. Just one of those nights, man, that there's just too many things that happen that didn't need to happen, and it's frustrating that we can't finish a race under green or under the amount of laps we were supposed to finish it in, just because we got guys back there in 20th that can't hold a wheel steady. But yeah, thanks again. Thank you for sitting up here and watching us pace for 2 hours. That must have been pretty brutal.
Always a pleasure, Tate. Thank you for your time, man. Looking forward to the points battle to shake up, and congratulations on another podium, my friend.
Hey, thanks, man. We'll see you next Friday night. Hopefully we give you a little bit better show than what the league gave you tonight, but appreciate it.
No worries. Take care, Tate. And that was Tate Lytle bringing home a second. Up next, we've got Matthew Weeks in the number 2 machine, coincidentally finishing second here tonight. Matthew, it looks like when you guys had those brief green flag runs, it was really good racing amongst you, Eckert, Lytle, Roethlisberger. It looked like a lot of fast guys having a lot of fun. What was it feeling like from your point of view here today?
It was feeling good. I like them long runs, man. I think I was the best car on the long run.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you guys were running very clean out there when the tire savings was becoming a thing. It allowed you guys to kind of show your ability on and off the track. Now, we knew tonight was going to be a rough one. Did you expect it to be that rough here today?
Yeah, as usual as Dover, man, it's just so close to racing, and a lot of wrecks usually happen here. So I expected actually a lot more cautions. It was better than I thought.
Yeah, I think we just ran out of time for cautions.
Yeah, we did. That's why I pitted a little early. I was trying to take advantage of the time, and man, I missed it just barely.
Now, Matthew, I mean, did you guys have a plan coming into tonight as far as strategy, or was it kind of thrown out the window as soon as we started seeing the cautions come out?
Um, Really, I didn't have a strategy. I was just trying to get good points since I wasn't here for the first two races. So I was just trying to capitalize on a good points day, to be honest.
Well, you did a great job. I believe I've broadcasted you before. Is that correct? Is that another?
Yeah,
I thought
you
so.
you you probably in Erska if you did Erska.
I think so. Your name seems really familiar. So good to
Yeah,
see you. Good to see you once again, Matthew. Congratulations, your season debut, picking up the second place spot. And before I let you sign off, who is any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to?
shout out to Tate, man, for hooking me up to run this series and run with these Mountain Men Motorsports, man. Tate's a good friend of mine. We always race good, and Jordan Owens, always sponsor me with SMRI, man, means a lot. And you up here in the booth, man, we wouldn't be able to watch it if it wasn't for you.
Well, Matthew, always my pleasure, man. Congratulations again on the first podium of the season. Hopefully, we're going to see more to come from you, and we'll let you get out there and relax. It's been a long night for everybody.
All right, man. Thank you. You have a good one.
You as well, sir. And up next, the man of the hour, the winning streak finally coming back for Johnny Eckert, the number 90 machine. Eckert, how did your I-pacing event go here today?
Was it really that? I mean, yeah, I think we
Yes,
did
Eckert, it was bad.
130 lap. Yeah, it was 130 laps under green. It looks like. So I mean, we had a couple good long runs, and that was fun. But it was an obstacle course, as Tate so lovely put it. Um, he that one long run in particular, we were going through lap traffic, and people are more focused on trying to get out of the way than to focus on their driving. So that becomes problematic. And I lost the lead at one point because the lap car decided to slam on the brakes coming out of two, and it was a tense event. And at the end, I don't know what happened. With those last couple laps, if I felt like the two was like brake checked me going into three, and then the lap after I was like half a car ahead of him, and the caution came out that ended the race. So uh, it was a hectic last like 10 laps. I didn't even think at one point I didn't even think I was going to have anything. I was just kind of managing my race and hoping to come home top three and to move on. But I got a run on Heller, and then from there it was like, all right, we still got a chance. So thankfully I was able to come home with it. I mean, we put a lot of effort into it this week, and uh, yeah, Dover has not been. I think this is the first time I've ever won at Dover, so I'm really excited. I mean, I've come here a few times and watch races in person, and I love this. I love this.
Oh, we hit the wrong button. Hold on, Eckert. Eckert,
Yeah.
I didn't quit on you. I'm back. Sorry, wrong button
Oh,
up here in the broadcast
yeah.
booth.
I looked up. I'm like, wait a minute, he's gone. No, but yeah, I love this area, so I'm really happy to come home with a win here, and yeah. Oh,
Now,
it was a
Eckert,
long
we
race.
we talked about you and Lytle cutting through traffic. We don't want to say Lytle was better at navigating traffic because it was so tough, but it seemed like he was willing to take a little bit more risky moves. And a couple times we saw you kind of check back and go, "Nah, now's not the time." So were you just trying to keep that number 90 machine clean, or what was the thought process when you guys were cutting through traffic like a scalpel out there?
Yeah, I was just worried about just trying to, because I think I was running a slightly different line than Tate was throughout the run. So I was just trying to manage myself a little bit better and try not to force the issue. But there were a couple moments, key moments that, I mean, Tate had trouble with lap cars. He may have spoken about it, I don't know, but he had his own issues with certain lap cars where he would get, after he got by me, that he would get out a little bit and then it would come back. But in my mind, I was more focused on just trying to keep the tires under me, because I knew that there was a chance that we could go green to the rest of the way, and I would have needed to stretch the tires a little bit. Um, Tate Tate was in the right place at the right time, especially when he got by me. It's just on that long run because, like I said, I got checked up by the one guy, and then there were two lap cars in front of me that were 3 wide or side by side, and he just found that gap, and he had the positioning on me to go for it, and he took it, and respect to him for doing it, and and respect to the lap cars for giving him and us the room for it, to be able to race. And yeah, I was more focused on just trying to. I guess I was more worried about big picture at the time because I had a little bit of concern based on how hard I had to run some lap cars, and I had a couple of close calls with lap cars that were coming back up through the field with fresh tires out of the blue. So yeah, it was yeah, I guess I was more focused long game, that's for sure.
And Eckert, my final question for you, my friend, before we go into the sponsor readout. I guess the final question is: I know you said the lap traffic guys were kind of doing lap traffic things, which in a 43 car field is going to happen. What factor do you think driver attrition played into that? I mean, it's a long race. We were on track for over 2 hours for the main event. I mean, I know part of it is a skill disparity is probably the best way to say it with how big the field is, but at what point do you think it was just drivers getting tired and making silly mistakes at the end of their run?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it like that, but it is a good point because 100, I think it was a lap. I can actually point it out. I think it was like 148. I think going into turn 3, I looked down or 149 and I looked down at what lap it was, and I was like, wow, there's a long way to go. And I think that first 20 lap run or whatever at the start of the race too, we had a caution on 39, and I looked down. I'm like, it's only lap 39. It was a mentally exhausting and draining race because you were on edge at all times. So, you may not have had the speed, you may not have had the raw pace, or you may not have had the long run speed, but there were guys out there that were just like on edge doing their own thing. So, that definitely played a part to it, I think. Dover is a hard track, and it seems like everybody kind of got their act together towards the end. A lot had happened up to that point, and I don't know if troublemakers had gotten out of the way or fell out of the race or whatnot. But I don't know if that's even the right word, troublemakers. But there was a lot of early incidents, so we got to that point, and then we had the long green flag run. So yeah, I want to say that maybe if there were more late cautions, I would say attrition had something to do with it, but maybe early on people were just a little bit too optimistic about what kind of pace they had and weren't worried too much about it being a 200 lap race, and we're more focused on making it to the first pit stop maybe on lap 50ish. So that's I guess that's kind of my thinking on it.
Oh, very well said, my friend. Again, making it 2 in a row here. One at Chicagoland, winning at Delaware. Hopefully see the streak continue at the Tennessee 225 next week. Johnny, before we let you sign off and go celebrate with the rest of the hooligans, I know you've got a couple people written down on a note card you want to give thanks to.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you for broadcasting. I mean, I say it every week, and it's always a pleasure to be interviewed by you, and you do such a fantastic job with the broadcast. So thank you for that, and thank you to the admins for all the work they put in every week. I mean, Casey sometimes rips his hair out, especially with races that like this where we have a bunch of cautions and then it goes short. But they do such a great job listening to everybody, and I want to thank Jake Bustos, my biggest fan. He's in my Twitch chat right now, so shout out to him.
Well,
Yeah,
Johnny,
he sat here and
Johnny, you also got
watched
you
all
got to
last.
plug your own Twitch. That's Podium 101. Give a shout out
Oh
to the
yeah,
fans. Where are you streaming at, buddy?
yeah, twitch.tv/NASCAR fan 8. Yeah, that's a thing.
I'm here for
Yeah,
you.
so I stream my races. Yeah, I stream my races. So I always go back and look at them down the line, for information. If I do another Dover race, I'll go back and look at this and be like, hey, this is what I did different and what I should do different and whatever. I take a few notes from that. But yeah, but I also want to thank my teammates. I mean, this week DJ Week sat down with us and really worked with us, and he's a big Dover person. He's fast and he's got the long run speed. And he sat down with myself, Zach, and D West, Dave Westergreen, and walked us through about things that he did in other races here. And I mean, I've said it multiple times. I've said it on broadcast last season. Without him, I would never be in this position. My driving style is totally different, and he always puts me focused on what I need to do long run game, and having Zach on the team this season has been a huge benefit, and D West just seems to not have the luck, but between the four of us, I feel like we're a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, I can't thank them enough. It's fantastic teamwork, and looking forward to seeing what's to come.
Johnny, thank you as always, my man. Congratulations making it 2 in a row, and just always a good time having you up here with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
My
Appreciate
pleasure,
it.
my friend. And that, my friends, will do it for the All-American ARCA Series. The Delaware 200 Bloodbath comes to a conclusion, running out of time on track, but it's Johnny Eckert, Matthew Weeks, Tate Lytle rounding out the top 3, and the points chase is just going to get closer and closer. Thank you all so much, sincerely, for spending your Friday night with us supporting the All-American ARCA Series. Again, my name is James East. On behalf of the All-American ARCA Series, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, and all of my friends, fans, and families across the world, thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.